What up, Jeffy here in Amsterdam, and this afternoon I'd like to talk to you about a little essay called Self-Reliance. Ralph Waldo Emerson was an essayist and a poet who, throughout the mid-1800s, espoused and outlined what are traditionally seen as the core American values: individuality and freedom. Now, in my opinion, and I'm saying this as someone who truly loves living in the United States, his ideas are desperately needed, now more than ever, given the prevailing direction of American society and, quite frankly, the world at large. In his famous 30-page essay, Self-Reliance, Emerson says that genius results from the belief that what you feel to be true in your own heart has universal significance. So when we perceive justice or truth, we're not actually doing anything except allowing it to pass through us. So when I was writing my book, for example, I didn't really stop to think about whether people who read it would actually like it. I was simply striving to make it ring true emotionally for me. And I knew that, perhaps paradoxically, this was the only way that it could truly resonate with others as well. And this is what's meant when you hear the phrase, trusting your faculties. And this is why spontaneity, instinct, and authenticity are so powerful, and why trying to impress and/or needy behaviors are perhaps the most unattractive characteristics of all. When we actually meet somebody who's unencumbered by conformity and who's on their own path, we find them deeply charismatic, in part because it gives us hope that we could be that way ourselves, right? So anyway, in the essay, Emerson writes, "No law can be sacred to me but that of my nature. Good and bad are but names readily transferable to this or that. I am ashamed to think how easily we capitulate to badges and names." This kind of reminds me of the Marilyn Manson lyric, "Pseudo-morals work real well on the talk shows for the weak, but your selective judgments and good guy badges don't mean a fuck to me." Maybe Manson's an Emerson fan. Actually, he probably is, given the fact that he's actually a fairly intellectual and well-read dude, despite his crazy reputation or image or whatever. But anyway, what this means is that you must be true to yourself and ultimately value your own opinion of yourself more highly than that of others. Now, of course, this doesn't mean you just run around acting like an asshole and be like, "Well, I'm awesome," right? No, it means you have to adhere to your own inner code, which may very well be even more strict and demanding than that of the law or, societal norms. Further, Emerson claims that this ability to be true to yourself above all is in fact the main distinction between great and merely average people. At the same time, he admits that this isn't an easy task, especially when you're faced with the indignation of the masses, when what he calls the brute force that lies at the bottom of society rises up against you. And frankly, this has never been more true than it is today, right? Make one wrong move in society, and with the internet, you now can have millions wanting to destroy you in a heartbeat. It's kind of like a force of nature, like the ocean. And as Emerson says in the essay, one needs the habit of magnanimity to treat this as a trifle of no concern. Another idea that Emerson brings up is that of taking instruction from others. So we look to teachers and gurus for advice, but ironically enough, would often dismiss those very same ideas if we'd come up with them ourselves. So to be a grown-ass man or woman, you have to accept yourself and what you were given in life. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with learning from someone else, but when you do, take the knowledge in, but don't let that be the limit. Don't be afraid to go beyond and actually build upon what your teacher has shown you. Emerson wrote, "Insist on yourself, never imitate. Your own gift you can present every moment with the cumulative force of a whole life's cultivation, but of the adopted talent of another, you have only an extemporaneous half possession." So be your own guru. You can learn things from others, but ultimately, you're the one that has to decide how you're going to embody those learnings yourself. Emerson, he went on to actually found the Transcendentalist movement, a core concept of which was the belief that we don't have to be at the mercy of random life events, you know, the ups and downs of fortune. You know, something bad happens, you think your life is over. Something good happens, you think, you know, happy days are here again. Well, Emerson ends his essay by saying, don't believe it. Nothing can bring you peace but yourself. Nothing can bring you peace but the triumph of principles. Now, I've said it before on this channel in a decidedly less erudite video, which you may have seen, but I'll say it again here in conclusion. Be your own person. Be a real person. Become your best fucking self. This is Jeffy. Please subscribe below, and I'll see you next time on the Jeffy Book Club.